64 Tacos Podcasts presents Is This Song Good? This is episode 23. Jack White, Love is Blindness.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Is This Song Good? We're doing the cover edition. We're in the middle of that, so I chose a song by U2 called Love is Blindness on Achtung Baby, and this is the Jack White version. I think it actually originated in a cover album of this entire, not Jack White, but a bunch of people doing covers of this whole album. And then it also popped up where I think I first heard it was on the Great Gatsby, the Baz Luhrmann, version of the movie. I think it was on the soundtrack. And yeah, it's a song that I've always liked from an album. It's one of my favorite albums. So I thought it was an interesting cover, and I want to see what you guys think.
Yeah, I listened to Achtung Baby quite a bit when that first came out, and I liked all the tracks on there, and this one as well. I haven't listened to it for a very long time, so it was fun kind of revisiting it and coming back to it, and I love how U2 kind of did the whole somber kind of atmospheric ballady type of thing, and as I was listening to it, I was like, there's some definite, I don't think I've ever heard the Jack White version before this. And I was just listening and thinking, yeah, this is kind of priming the pump for something for Jack White to do cool stuff on. And then, as I listened to that one, I really like what he did with the very, kind of simple organ, drums, bass, and then of course his amazing guitar. And there's never going to be a Jack White song without some sort of balls out guitar solo going on, and I was just as happy with this one as all of the others. It does feel like kind of a different song, like he's going for a more bluesy type of gruff type of feeling. But I like that. I thought it was still good, and his solo was epic, and those are my thoughts about it.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite songs off of probably my favorite U2 album. The Achtung Baby was one of the first times when I realized music was more than just the pop music you hear on the radio, and it could just actually mean something, and have value that would last, So I remember listening to this album at your house, Dan, over on Orville, on your folks' stereo system, and just thinking, man, this is just amazing music. And then, Love is Blindness is one of the great songs from it. And so yeah, I was excited to hear the Jack Black version of it, because
the Jack Black version,
Zach, the Jack White, sorry.
I want to hear the Jack Black version now.
Yeah, I kind of do want to hear that as well, but we'll have to settle for the Jack White version. He doesn't change it too much. Like, he keeps the core of it pretty simple, and you can definitely tell that it's not Bono singing. Yep. Because Bono is like the voice of an angel, and then Jack White is like you said, Zach, he's got that rough texture to his voice, and he's gonna squeak and I don't even know. But it was a lot of fun listening to it, especially when he gets the guitar out and just does his thing. The Edge is an amazing guitarist, one of the best from the 80s and 90s, you could say. But there's something special about what Jack White does with with this song, and the guitar part on it. So I had a lot of fun listening to that.
Yeah, yeah, you, Achtung Baby was, I think we were in Mrs. Wright's art class when we were like in 6th grade or something, and I heard one on the radio, and I was like, okay, I like that, and then I went and got Achtung Baby. It was one of my early albums, and it was my favorite. It's probably my favorite U2 album. It's definitely my favorite U2 album. One of my favorite albums ever, especially when I was in the '90s. But I think it holds up really, really well. The whole album does.
Absolutely.
It sounds fantastic still, and it doesn't sound dated. Some of the stuff they did on pop and the later albums is a little more of its time and doesn't. I mean, they've had honestly like a 20+ year run of mediocre stuff. I think I haven't really spent much time with it. So, but
Yeah.
man, that run from like War in '83 all the way through like arguably Pop in '97 was one of the
I would
great
say
15-year
pop still,
runs.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little dated, but it has some great stuff on there. So yeah, I mean, I really, really listened to U2 a lot when I was a teenager, and then I kind of went away from it a little bit. Not that I didn't like it, I just, I was finding other new music, but coming back to it, I really do think it is it's funny because U2 should not be making one of the most important alternative albums, because they're the opposite of alternative. They were, after Joshua Tree, they were the biggest band in the world, and their alternative is the wrong phrase, but as far as what it actually
Right.
sounds like, and all the textures and atmosphere, and Zach, you mentioned atmosphere, and I think that is the thing that comes away from the U2 version, the original version of Love Is Blindness. Right. It's tons of atmosphere.
He's doing a lot of like ambient guitar stuff. The guitar is not the focal point of the song, and that's okay. It's really cool what he's doing. And it adds that extra, like sort of fog to the mist, to what's going on in the lyrics and stuff.
And I think,
but then Jack White comes in with his guitar, and he's like, "This is going to be the focal point, and you're going to listen to this, and you're going to love it." And I appreciate that. I like that.
Yeah, Jack
like
White
counterpoint.
That's why when I first, I think I was watching the movie, and I was like, Is this Love Is Blindness by Jack White? What the hell? It just seems like such a weird thing, but it totally works as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, to me, it's atmospheric, the original version, but the Jack White version is desperate. Like it's not
right.
It's not like someone sort of saying, "All right, I give up. Just I want this to happen." It's like he's begging for it, even if he knows it's not necessarily great. He's got to have it, and his vocal delivery really conveys that. There's a bit of that yelping, screaming, crying quality there, and then the guitar solo mirrors that fantastically. It's his style, it's in his wheelhouse, but it's appropriate for the song and the lyrics, and it does make you. It's just a little different way of looking at it. It's interesting because Achtung Baby for me is Edge, the guitar player. It's the album that he solos the most on, and it's probably his best guitar album. Not just solos, but just textures, and I mean that's his thing, right? It's textures and atmosphere. But the solo on this one, it's like it has that sort of rawness to it in the tone, but then he like drags it back, and just does like little notes and stuff, and it's less bluesy, although there is some of that sort of bluesiness in it. And then it just sort of expands while Bono comes in over top of it. And I think it's a fantastic solo, but it doesn't have the urgency that a Jack White solo has. Which is why I like the cover so much. So yeah, I think it's a great cover. But I love the song. I'm glad that the cover was good enough to to pay proper respect to the original song.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's yes, this song is good, but I think I still prefer the cover.
The cover or the original?
The original. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The original.
Okay.
Yep. I'd say it's definitely a good song, and I think it's about even for me. I could go either way. I think there would be times when
Do you want me to roll some dice to?
No, not this time.
Oh, okay.
I would say probably the U2 one's just a little bit better. I probably would prefer to hear that one, but it's really close. It's very close.
Yeah, I think I love the cover, but I do think I prefer the original. Part of it is I loved it. I loved the original for 20 years before the cover even existed. So, but it's a great cover, and I like that it brings something different to the song. So yeah, I prefer the original, but great cover.
All right, so coming up next week, we're going to do the song called "Dirt." It's originally by the Stooges, and we're going to be listening to, and going over the Depeche Mode version of it. So tune in then.
I caught it on audio.